everyone. Super happy to be here. Okay, so today we're on a few different platforms. I hope the reception is okay. My internet has not been the most stable. Um, but yes, today is my birthday. I am in Tokyo. I got some really beautiful flowers from my friends. Just very, very thankful. And because of this, I really want to share with everybody the topic of today, which is why we gravitate and love certain scents, and how essential oils influence our body, our mind, and emotions and energy. Um, and why I'm so obsessed with essential oils. So welcome back to another episode of Wow Rose's Aromatherapy and Wellness series. I want to begin tonight with a question. Have you ever smelled something and it instantly transported you to another time in your life? Perhaps the scent of citrus reminded you of childhood summers. Perhaps lavender reminds you of your grandmother. Perhaps a perfume reminded you of a former love. What's fascinating is that scent is the only sense that bypass the brain's rational filters and travels directly into the emotional centers of the brain. So before you consciously think, your body has already felt it. That is the power of aromatherapy. So, tonight we're going to explore why scents affect our emotions, the major categories of aromatic plants, why natural essential oils are different from synthetic fragrances, the chemistry behind essential oils, and a few of my favorite and very fundamental essential oils, including lavender, including lemon. We are going to talk about peppermint, frankincense, neroli, Ylang Ylang, and Wild Orange. Um, I have some friends on Zoom right now and asking me some questions. I will address. Yes, thank you, thank you. Yes, I'm very happy today. It is my birthday, and I'm in Tokyo. I really love the city. I actually got a bunch of flowers from Nagano. Wildflowers. They're called hollyhock, and they come in all these different colors, which I would talk about them another day. But I'm going to be making hydrosol with them, so I'm really, really excited. Okay, and then today we're going to talk about how each of these oils that I mentioned, some of the fundamentals, including lavender, lemon, peppermint, frankincense, neroli, Ylang Ylang, and orange, wild orange, how they affect our physical, emotional, and mental and energetic well being. Okay. And most people that have been coming on to listen, and I'm sorry today it's a little bit difficult for some people because we actually pushed our live back by an hour. Usually it's an hour earlier, so usually happens around 10 p.m. East Coast New York time and 7 p.m. West Coast time. And today we just kind of push it back by an hour because I had some calls earlier. So I apologize for that. One of the things I always talk about why scent is so powerful is the science, right? So the science begins in a very remarkable place called our limbic system. And I'm sure many people have heard of this. Our limbic system around our body controls our memory, our emotion, motivation, learning, as well as our stress response and hormonal regulation. So, one of the reasons that I actually became so devoted to essential oils is for myself. I saw how it changed the way that I can deal with stress, right? And we're experiencing so much stress these days, especially with how fast information is moving and fed to us. So everybody has a need to really learn more about how we can handle stress in a more healthy and sustainable way. So when we inhale an essential oil, there are volatile aromatic molecules that enter our nose and interact with our olfactory receptors, which sits right behind our nose. And it's the part where it senses different smells. So within milliseconds, these signals will travel directly to our amygdala, as well as our hippocampus and hypothalamus. Okay, but the most impactful area in the brain is the amygdala. So these are the emotional headquarters of the brain, and it also controls our memories. So it's called aromatherapy because the right and natural smells from plants can actually enhance our emotions that's related to our memories and memories to our emotions, vice versa. So it becomes a very therapeutic and very sustainable, very bilateral, syncopated process to help us improve any kind of emotional state. Okay. And so this is why scents can calm anxiety, for example. It can help us to increase focus. It can trigger certain memories. It can also change our mood, and it also helps us to improve our sleep. So long, long, long before we actually consciously realize scents are doing that, it's already doing it whenever we smell different things, right? So why do plants produce these aromatic molecules? Plants create aromatic compounds for survival. Hi, Louis. Welcome. So talking about plants, as everybody knows, I love plants. I really do think that with more and more technology these days, it's more and more important for us to get back closer to nature. So these aromatic compounds that are produced by plants, the compounds actually help the plants to attract pollinators in the wild. It helps the plants to communicate with neighboring plants, and it helps the plants defend these plants from other insects. So we wonder why, in the wild, not all plants are eaten by all these different bugs. It's because all the plants have essential oils living in them, right? And these aromatic compounds are also very good at helping the plants to resist things like fungi, fungus, and bacteria. And it helps plants to adapt to environmental stress. So ultimately, these aromatic compounds is what we use to extract um, essential oils, right? So when we are using essential oils, we're borrowing millions of years of plant intelligence. And it's another very powerful properties of essential oils to help support detoxification, which I'll talk a little bit more later. Um, Talking about the scents, like there are different groups of scents, right? Many, many different groups. But today I'll just talk about some of the fundamentals. Um, they're floral, all the flower scents, citruses, so like lemons, oranges, tangerines, bergamot, grapefruits. A lot of fruits are under the citrus family. And then we have the wood essential oils. So we have frankincense, cedarwood, Siberian fir. There are all kinds of white fir. There are a lot of really beautiful blends as well. One of my favorite wood oils is black spruce. It's the biggest tree in the world. When you apply it on kids, it actually helps them to grow in terms of height. So there's a lot of these intelligence that whatever is physically representing in plants can ultimately also help us humans in parallel in terms of their physical properties. So why different plant families affect us differently? It's because plants evolved under completely different environmental conditions for much longer than we have as humans. So citrus plants, they grow in lots of sunlight, sunlight-rich environments. They need a lot of vitamin D to survive well. So their chemistry tends to be bright, very stimulating, very uplifting, and emotionally citrus plants, when we diffuse them, they're there to help us increase our optimism, our motivation, and joy. Okay. And then there are floral plants. So lavender, there's rose, there's jasmine, magnolia. I love blue lotus. There's neroli we'll talk about today. So flowers exist to attract pollinators. So their chemistry tends to be a lot more gentle, it's more harmonizing, and it's very emotionally nurturing. So for everyone, we should use floral plants. Floral plants really reminds us to love ourselves more, especially mothers. Okay. Emotionally, floral plants help us with increasing love, increasing compassion, and increasing healing. Okay. And then, of course, there's like wood oils, like trees and resins. Trees survive decades or centuries. So their chemistry is very protective and very resilient, right? So emotionally, tree essential oils are there to help us increase a sense of security, stability. It helps us to ground. It also increases our wisdom when you diffuse them, when you smell them on a regular basis. And this is also why plants like frankincense, cedar wood, and like black spruce I mentioned earlier, these oils, they often make us feel very safe, very centered, and very grounded. Okay, it's especially useful in kids that suffer from things like ADD and ADHD. As we get older, we start using our minds more than our intuitive, than our bodies. So for adults, it usually takes a little bit longer to come to this effect. It takes longer and more consistency to diffuse, because we usually use our minds to override our gut feelings. And we're trained to do that, right? And there's a bigger disconnect between our minds and our bodies in adults compared to kids. Okay. So when it comes to what we were talking about earlier, why essential oils are so important and why I love using them in terms of diffusing, and also using them a wellness space in terms of improve my health. I always talk about CPTG, certified pure tested grade essential oils. They're really the top, like the Hermes or the Chanel of essential oils. As someone who's trained in luxury brand management, and also have worked in that industry for many years, I often explain that true luxury is not just branding, right? It's really about purity, and it's not just about purity of the products, but purity of intention as a business. So, and we really need that more in the world these days, right? So most fragrances in the market today, they're filled with synthetics. Not just fragrances, majority of the household products that we use, if it smells good, it's often added with synthetic fragrances. And synthetic fragrances, they often contain petroleum derived compounds, right? Petroleum, essentially things we put in our cars. They also contain phthalates. These are very toxic hormone and endocrine disruptors. And they also do not contain the full chemistry of living plants, right? It's a lot more narrow, and they're created primarily to smell good, and don't really offer a lot of other more sustainable wellness benefits beyond that. And this is why essential oils are so different and why we are always championing this. Um, all the aromatherapist teachers that you see, we're continuously trying to share this with our community and our students, right? Focusing on CPTG's purity, its potency, and its effectiveness, right, across all different types of essential oils. So the goal is to really preserve the plant's original chemistry. And when you smell a real like lavender field, for example, your body will experience hundreds of naturally occurring molecules working together, right? And that complexity cannot be recreated synthetically. And the more you adapt your body to smell natural scents, the more acutely your body and more intelligently your body will be able to point out uh, when the scents are not natural, right? So now, whenever I smell something that's synthetic, I can tell right away. And that's also after years of using very natural essential oil scents. Okay. And another important part about essential oils is how they can support detoxification. So, a common misunderstanding is that detox is something we only do through like juice or green juice cleanses or just supplements. But in reality, our bodies are detoxifying every second of every day. So I always remind people that our bodies are such powerful natural healing mechanisms. Like even essential oils, they're supplements, right? They're there to support our well being, as well as all these other supplements we take, right? But our major organs like our liver, our kidneys, our lymphatic system, our skin, our lungs, our digestive system, they're constantly processing and removing unwanted compounds. And when you're using tested grade, like very pure essential oils, it also helps you to speed up that process. So we'll be talking about lemon essential oil today. I love lemon, and I don't have styrofoam on me, but next week I'm going to do a demonstration to show you guys why lemon essential oil can detox microplastics from our system so naturally and so quickly. It's it's incredible to see, right? And one of the reasons that our family started using these essential oils is through my father's clinic, and he has been running this integrative wellness clinic for over 20 years, like 22 to be exact, right? And out of thousands of different products my father has seen and experienced and tested with, he has never seen something like lemon and some of these other essential oils that can melt away microplastics so quickly and so naturally, right? So it doesn't just get rid of the microplastics, but it also cleanses our blood, and it also adds to natural, healthy cellular functions, right? So, one of many benefits. And next week, I'll do an experiment online and I'll show you guys how quickly it melts away. So, you guys will start being more interested to use these plant powers the way that our family does. So, according to environmental health research, the average person is exposed daily. So, that's all of us, especially if you live in a city. We're exposed to synthetic fragrances. We're exposed to plasticizers. There's also a lot of toxins in air pollution, air we smell, even a lot of times air we breathe in inside. So a lot of these interior design and the way we renovate houses these days, it relates to the paint that we use. Those toxins don't go away even after decades. And there's also, heavy metals we're ingesting continuously, as well as pesticide residues in our plants. And these plants are also eaten by the animals and these meat products that we eat if you're not vegetarian. Also, a lot of household cleaning chemicals, right? There's also a lot of these synthetic fragrances in there. So, unlike pure essential oils, these synthetic compounds, they're not designed by nature to interact harmoniously with our biology. And this is also why so many people now are experiencing all kinds of either chronic or very hard to explain um, discomfort. we don't necessarily call them illnesses, but illnesses are formed after these discomfort have been happening for a period of time. This is also why I love sharing traditional Chinese medicine wisdom, because a lot of that was tested and trialed on thousands of years of humans. um, and there's a lot of wisdom in there, and a lot of emphasis on, really, it's not about um, any cultural differences. It's just human, like civilization as a whole. All humans, all cultures have some sort of ancient wisdom, and ancient ways of living healthier by just staying closer to nature. We all have it, and we're all connected, right? So, certain constituents in essential oils can really help to support our body's natural detoxification pathways by supporting liver function, for example, and promoting healthy inflammatory responses. And like I said earlier, encouraging lymphatic circulation and supporting our respiratory function, right? And then, of course, reducing oxidative stress. So, the the more we can increase antioxidant properties in our systems, the more it slows down aging for us. So I don't always love using the word anti aging, because we're not trying to resist aging. We just want to age gracefully. Okay. So, um, first, I want to share about lavender. So, lavender, we know that it helps with sleep, relaxation, and skin support. I see your questions on Zoom, guys. I will definitely get back to you at the end of our streaming. Please bear with me, because my assistant today, she couldn't get online today. Otherwise, she'll be able to answer your questions live. Thank you, Scott. So, lavender, usually we actually put it in the kitchen. It's great to close up any kind of wound, and it's great for helping with burns. And I've shared my burn story with some of you before. It's really good for skin support. So, if you want to get back to your natural skin condition, lavender is great if you dilute it with coconut oil and just put one drop and then put it all over your face. It's a really, really beautiful way of maintaining your skin. In terms of mental properties, it's very good at calming racing thoughts and reducing any kind of overwhelm we can experience. And then emotionally, of course, it helps with comforting, safety, peace, all of these really positive properties, right? So I always love getting a little bit into the chemistry of these plants, and you'll realize that, okay, different types of categories of plants, they all share similar chemistry properties. So the more you learn about essential oils, the more you'll realize that, as long as you know about, the category of the plants or some of their chemistry, you'll know what the benefits are of that plant, which I think it's very magical. And I'm a more systematic person. That's the way it helps me to remember what different essential oils and plants and how they help us. So, lavender has linalool in it. So, research suggests that linalool, it can help us relax. It really supports relaxation. This is why lavender is so great at helping us with sleep, rest. It also promotes our parasympathetic nervous system activity. Okay. So, people that go through a lot of stress, I especially think parents need this a lot. It also helps us to calm nervous tension and support healthy sleep. It also has linalool acetate. Okay, so linalool acetate, it's known for calming effects. It also supports relaxation and helps to ease physical tension. On an energetic way, some people that don't like pure lavender smell, they tend to have a more stringent or sensitive relationship with their mothers. Okay. With the fathers, it's frankincense. But over time, if a person continues to diffuse lavender smell, they can also improve that dynamic. Okay, it's very magical. They can also improve that dynamic and relationship with their mothers. So, um, many aromatherapists considers linalool acetate to be one of the most emotionally soothing molecules that's found in nature, and this is why lavender is so useful for rest. Okay, and then on the physical side, of course, it helps with skincare, like we said earlier. So I actually love putting it in my kitchen and not my bedside. Next is lemon. Lemon, of course, it's great for cleansing. Like I said last week, earlier, next week, I'm going to show you how it melts away microplastic. If you have lemon on you, please bring it with you for the live next week so you can also test it yourself, and bring a piece of styrofoam. Okay. Um, Lemon is actually really, really good to cleanse any kind of oily residue. It's a great way. What love to use, I don't really use nail polish anymore, but if you're a regular nail polish user, lemon essential oils is actually very good as a natural nail polish remover. And when you use that, it doesn't dry up your skin. My fingers get dry very easily. So it actually doesn't dry up your skin because it's natural and it smells amazing. It's also very good for digestive support. It cleanses our blood. So similar to the properties of disintegrating microplastics. Um, Cleansing our blood ultimately makes us younger, right? It's part of anti-aging. So a lot of people go to expensive clinics to get IV drips. That's also why um, the purpose for these drips, right? It's to really cleanse the blood and get rid of the toxins. So if you're able to just drink this daily, you don't have to go and get these strips. And then on the mental side, lemon fragrance, ma- scent can really help with mental clarity and focus. Okay. And emotionally, of course, because it's a citrus oil, it helps with increasing our sense of positivity and confidence. And a big part of this is because of the limonene chemical that's in a lemon essential oil. It's typically lemon essential oil has around 60 to 70% of limonene compound. So these provide very powerful antioxidant activities in our system. This is why I had a friend that was asking me about, using lemon essential oils versus the fruit. Both of these actually will help us to increase antioxidant activities in the system. But of course, lemon essential oil, like a 15 milliliter bottle like this, um, uses about 45 to 50 lemons, right? So in terms of potency, essential is definitely a lot more potent, on average 50 to 80% more potent than the fruit equivalent. It also supports healthy detox pathways, like we said earlier, and gets rid of toxins in our liver. So very, very important on increasing healthy cellular functions. Okay, next, we have peppermint. So these three, lavender, lemon, and peppermint, is really great to get rid of any kind of seasonal allergies, right? So peppermint actually has menthol and menthone. These two menthol creates offers cooling sensation, respiratory support, and enhanced alertness. Right. So mentally, it also helps to increase focus, and we know that by applying in our systems, it's very, very um, light, very fresh, and it enhances our alertness. And menthone, works more for digestive support, for mental stimulation, and for energy production. Okay, so these two combined is why a lot of people call peppermint the wake up oil. So I love using it if after 3 or 4 p.m. during the day and I still want to drink coffee which I still am right now, but I no longer want caffeine in my system, then I use peppermint. And then someone was asking me a lot of questions about frankincense. And of course, frankincense is the king of essential oils. It's existed for thousands of years. Um, I actually had I done an episode before on just frankincense and the history of frankincense, which is a fascinating story. I will recirculate that next week. And for the chemical compounds in frankincense, there's also limonene in there. And then there's something called alpha pinene. So alpha pinene supports our respiratory health. It gives a lot of antioxidant properties to our health, and it supports healthy inflammatory responses. And this is what makes frankincense one of the best anti-inflammatory essential oils out there. It's very good at providing grounded focus. And if you have any kind of scars, it's also very good at getting rid of scars, even if it's long-term scar. If you use it consistently, it will line up the scar and the scar will eventually go away. Okay, so and limonene, of course, it supports healthy cellular functions and immunity. But frankincense, ultimately, I love putting 1 to 3 drops underneath my tongue every morning. It helps when we put essential oils in our tongue. Yes, 1 to 3 drops is perfect to answer Melanie. So for kids, I wouldn't do that. Only for adults to begin. Kids, you can put it in water. Okay. And then there are also more diluted blends that are more gentle for kids. If you want to increase their focus, right? And for kids, I always recommend that they can definitely drink them. You can put it in water, but I avoid putting it directly in their mouth because their bodies are more fragile than adults. And then if you want to help them with focus, I always recommend to apply it and also diffuse it before eating it for children. Okay. Frankincense, of course, it's when you put it underneath your tongue, it directly goes into your brain, right? And our brain manages all different types of functions. So it's actually a very good, like, cognition enhancing oil. And as we age, and now we're finding microplastics in the brains as well. So it's actually super important for us to actively enhance our functions in the brain as well and reducing any sort of inflammation that might be happening in our brains. And my father, being a cardiologist, um, initially. And so he's been doing cardiology for about 50 years now. One of the most common aging crisis we're seeing right now is the heart and brain uh, breakdown, right? The aging of the heart or the brain, like two of the most important organs in our system. We're also using our brains less and less now, the way we used to, like in terms of, for example, memorizing phone numbers. Sometimes I have to think a second to remember my own, right? So, with how dependent we are on technology now, there are ways for us to really help to actively enhance our brain functions because we're not training it as a muscle as we have been in previous generations. Okay. All right. So one of the last oils I want to share today is Ylang Ylang. I love this oil. And Ylang Ylang is actually so important because most of our audience online right now are females. Thank you for your support. Ylang Ylang, of course, is so important for female hormones. Okay. Um, in Ylang Ylang, there is a very unique chemical called germacrene D. So this chemical, it supports very healthy inflammatory balance and also provides very calming aromatic effects. So I love applying it with essential fractionated coconut oil around just above my ovaries, right? Like below my belly button. Okay, this is a great way for you to sustain your female hormones. And um, there's so many endocrine disruptors, like I discussed earlier, that's in our environment right now. It's super important for us to remember to actively detox these things out of our system. And there are many tools that helps us do it, this being one of them. So after we apply, I also always remind people to also breathe it in. So your hands will still be filled with these scents. So when you smell it, it really helps you to um, calm your nervous system. It reduces our need for perfectionism. I feel like a lot of women have that. We suffer from this, especially parents, because we want the best for our children. Ylang Ylang also, the scent encourages self-worth, right? So people who may feel more not like less confident or who might have experienced less friendly dynamics in their everyday circles, you can help them by diffusing Ylang Ylang and letting them smell this more. It also supports intimacy and connection. So it's actually a very good smell also for your male counterpart, and it helps us with our sacral chakra and our heart chakra. So, let me address some questions very quickly. Somebody was asking about lemon essential oils. Yes, you can add it in your skincare product. Okay, men and women. If you have sunspots, I recommend to use frankincense combined with lemon. And when you use frankincense, because it's such a special, we think it's a very unique um essential oil, and it's also not cheap, right? So when you use it, just dab it like this. Don't put a whole drop. All you need is a little bit of a shiny finger, and then you can just, put it on wherever there are spots. Lemon, you can put 1 or 2 drops in your daily skincare routine in the evenings. Okay, so we want to always avoid sunlight with these citrus oils. Okay, 12 hours before you're exposed to the sun, we recommend to not use any citrus essential oils. Of course, if you use it from time to time just for a little bit, it's not going to bring so many spots on your face the next day. But it's really the consistent usage, right? And if you add it already in your skincare products, it's easy to forget about that. But you will see that most of the products on the market that talks about how there's brightening and vitamin C, these kind of properties in the products, it always tells you to avoid the sunlight or like have to put on an ample amount of sunscreen to help you. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you. Um, yes. So whenever you apply essential oils, I love placing one hand on your heart and then another hand taking a deep breath. And then you can think about which oil really resonates with you. Okay, ask yourself, what emotional quality do I want more in my life? Maybe it's peace, maybe it's joy, maybe it's motivation, maybe it's confidence, love, trust. Um, I started doing more and more of these series focusing on the emotional properties of essential oils. So I'll be sharing more of them as we go along. And then people are asking me to post more of these lives on the channel. So I will start doing that as well once I add some subtitles. And I'm also trying to see if there are ways to add subtitles so they could also be automatically translated, since we have more and more Japanese friends. We have friends that speak Spanish, and we have some German friends as well. Um, yes, I will keep you guys posted on how AI can support us with this. But just remember, plants are always here, and they always been there to support us. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Your evening, if you're in North America, or in the morning, if you're in Asia. If you found this video to be helpful, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, invite more people to your groups, or share with your friends and family. We're always here to make our communities healthier, um, and spread the love using plant power. Next week, I will demonstrate how lemon essential oil can melt away microplastic. And I'm going to, the topic next week is why fixing your gut will change your face. Okay. And well, of course, we're going to talk about skincare, um, and what things we can use to help us improve our digestive tracts, right? And again, in TCM, as I mentioned a lot, in traditional Chinese medicine, our gut is connected to our lungs, which is connected to our skin. And of course, we also know that our gut is our second brain. So I'll explain why all of that next week at the same time. Actually, next week, I think we're going to go back to an hour before this live. So right now I'm in Japan. The live today started at noon. Next week, it will start again at 11 a.m. Unless I otherwise announce it. And that's going to be 11 p.m. in New York time, and 8 p.m. Oh, sorry, it will be 10 p.m. New York time, and then 7 p.m. In California. All right. Thank you guys. Have a beautiful day and a beautiful weekend. I hope you keep using your oils, and keep trying to help everybody around you to be healthier. See you next week. Bye, guys. Bye. Good night.